Hi everybody, welcome back to the Dahlia Society. Today I've got a brand new make and I've got a new episode coming out every Monday called Monday Makes. So Monday Makes are for me to show you what I've been making for that week. Normally I do monthly roundups and I'm thinking lately, I know a lot of you guys like to see those, but I'm thinking you're probably already watching most of my episodes so you'll already see what I've been making for the month. So I thought maybe it's best to do a weekly roundup. So that way you can see what I've been sewing, because Fridays I usually talk about what I've been up to through the week. Maybe Monday would be great to show you some Monday makes. Now it's been a little while since I've done a pattern review. This week I've got this gorgeous Elodie wrap dress by Closet Core Patterns. Now I've had this in my pattern stash for quite a few months, meaning to make it up. I've seen some beautiful versions on the internet, on Instagram. This fabric was kindly sent to me by Minerva and it is a beautiful crepe linen. Now I've never sewn with a crepe linen before. It's a really unusual fabric. It's a blended rayon and linen together, so it gives a beautiful, almost sort of crinkly soft effect. And the fabric is a gorgeous floral, that beautiful coral color flower, almost the Japanese kind of vibe it's giving off. So really, really lovely fabric. So thanks Minerva for sending me that. I wanted to make the Elodie wrap dress. I'd seen quite a few versions of it and I love the full length, but I thought I probably wouldn't get, which is view A, but I'm not really going out enough to some sort of formal occasions to wear it at the moment. So I thought maybe view B might be a good starting point just to see how I like the style of it and then progress from there. I'm going to show you some pics and some video and see what you think of the dress. It's come up really lovely. This is a kind of dress that you can dramatically change the look of it by what fabric you choose. So I've gone for a nice soft drapey lightweight fabric. If you went for something like more of a sort of structured fabric like a full linen or a cotton, you will really give it a more structured modern look. A more drapey, soft fabric will give you kind of those floaty, more vintage vibes. So I think it looks lovely in a more structured fabric for the shorter version. I think you can really do something interesting with maybe a geometric print or maybe a pinstripe or just even something like a chambray, a lightweight chambray or linen or cotton. So you really can dramatically change the look of the dress. So I think something like this soft crepe linen fabric, it just gives that more of a romantic kind of a feel to the garment. And getting onto drapey fabrics, if you chose something like a beautiful silk or a charmeuse, like a rayon, like a fluid rayon, I think that would look stunning as well, just to give it that more glamorous kind of feel. A tencel would also be beautiful because you've got that little bit of drape and that little bit of structure as well. So really get creative with thinking what kind of fabric you could use for this. As far as the sizing goes, I made a size 14. Now you can get the two separate size envelopes with this. This is a size 0 to 20 and the next pattern envelope is the 14 to 30. Now with this fabric, I actually had a 140 width fabric, so I used about 3.2 meters, so there's quite a bit of fabric in it. This is the midi length, so if you're wanting to make that full length dramatic style version, you're going to need quite a bit more fabric to get you there. So I think this dress would be an absolute stunner for a springtime event. I know you guys in the Northern Hemisphere are looking forward to a bit more sunshine and some nice weather. So this is a kind of thing I think would be absolutely stunning to be glamming up to wear a nice frock out for maybe a dinner or a wedding or an event. But definitely I think you can casual it down quite easily too. You've got the two sleeve versions. You have that beautiful grown on almost kimono style sleeve, or you've got that shorter almost a cap sleeve. So with the three lengths, you've got your short, your midi and your maxi length dress. Now, I did have a few issues, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I actually had a wonderful viewer that knew I was making this, and she messaged me to say that she had some issues with the waistline being quite a bit smaller than what she anticipated. Now, I would have to totally agree with that. I think looking at the finished garment measurements is going to give you a really true and accurate decision on what size you want to make. Now, that can really affect the look of the dress. If you have a wrap style dress that's meant to cross right over and tie at the side or wrap around the front, and your waist isn't going to meet up in the right spot, you can really almost ruin the look of the dress. So I'm looking at the finished garment measurements here, and I went for the size 14 because normally I make a size 14 in Closet Core patterns, and I really don't have any issues at all. The problem with this dress, I would say, because the finish measurement around the waist is very neat and there is no ease in it at all. Basically, you're looking at that finish measurement to be wrapping around your waist. So the issue that I had with the waist being quite small in this and not a lot of room to move is that you don't want to be upsizing the top of the dress because you've got quite a bit of ease. You can see how much room I've got to move in this. So if I'm going to go up too much in the top, I'm going to be finding the shoulders are going to be, it's not fitting quite as well. So you're going to have a bit of an issue there if you're going to upsize the whole dress. So really be particular, maybe think about grading out the waist. I ended up grading up to about a size 18 in the waist and left the rest of the dress as a size 14, and I think I was very lucky to make it all fit quite well. You just got to make sure that when you're putting your darts in the back and the front of the dress, which can sort of bring in the bodice a lot more, that you are not going to have a waistband that's going to be sort of too small or too big. So be very careful with that. And I would say if you've got a bit of extra fabric, definitely make your waistband a little bit bigger, and then maybe you can sort of cut it down to size once you've done the actual bodice and put it together. So the construction of the dress was, it was kind of a finicky make. I'm not going to lie here. I found it to be a bit challenging in some areas. I would say when you're putting that waistband on and you've got the internal waistband to put on as well, and you do that sort of stitch in the ditch kind of effect. Juju's come to visit. Every time I'm out filming in the garden, she wants to come on camera. The issue, I would say, the biggest issue for me was getting that waistband to sit nice and flat on the internal side. So that can be quite challenging. I also made a mistake, whereas I put the front panels the wrong way around. So really make sure you're looking at where your hip notches are because you're making that wrap style dress. Really look at things like cutting hip notches properly, making sure that you know where the front and the side of the skirt is, because when you join those back panels to the front panels, if you do what I did and you put them the wrong way around, I actually looked at the angle of the skirt and thought that was the front edge piece when I actually had them the wrong way around. So I had to do quite a bit of unpicking there, and I ended up fixing it up, no worries at all. So be very careful with that because it can be a bit misleading, because you'll know with the top the angle of the bodice comes down, but the skirt, it's more of a straighter look. I had a few issues with the construction. So I'm sure that if you read through your pattern carefully, I actually read quite a bit of the pattern, and I also did a bit of a sew along with Sarah from Sewing Therapy, which helped me quite a lot because I really love to have a visual. There's a few things she did a bit different to the pattern as well. So be careful if you're following a sew along that you don't distract too much from the pattern. Sometimes it's good to see two ways and then decide yourself which way will work best for you. I did a little rolled hem on the skirt and on the sleeve as well. I think that's really lovely effect. If you've got a rolled hem foot, that can really help as well. It's quite easy to do. It just takes a little bit of practice, and sometimes things like a tailor's awl can help you sort of poke that edge in and get it all nicely finished off. Remember to do things like pressing your darts and your seams to get that nice kind of crisp look. But all in all, really happy with how the dress come up. I think the finished product is really lovely, and it's kind of my style. I love a wrap dress. I'm a big fan. I have so many wrap dress patterns. So if you're unsure, definitely check your finished garment measurements. I think that's really important to do that, because just going by size and by previous patterns in Closet Core, I normally make a straight size 14, but this, of course, had to size up around the waist. It does sit a little bit higher than the natural waist as well, so where it sort of crosses over. I really like the facing effect. There's plenty of coverage along the bust line too, so for me, I think it's a winner. This dress doesn't come with different versions for the bust, so you do have to watch that and make sure you're going to have plenty of room with the bust, but it has got quite ample coverage there, and that's one thing I found. I'm not constantly having gaping. It's really, really nicely finished off, and it covers quite well. So I think in the end it's come up really nice. after my few little challenges I had with it. I'm really happy with the dress. A simple style. It's almost, as I say, a modern take on a classic wrap dress, so you're not going to have a problem with things like flashing or unraveling skirts. There's quite a lot of coverage right around to the other side. Another dress added to the wardrobe. I think it's really nice to make these really popular patterns to see if they fit your lifestyle and if you enjoy sewing them too. I would definitely like to make another one of these, maybe in a more structured fabric this time, just to see how I can get the fit. And also having a more structured fabric for the waistband probably would make things a bit easier. I think the more drapey your fabric, the more tricky it can get to do things like the internal waistband. If you've enjoyed watching today's episode, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd be really appreciative if you could do that. I will keep the episodes coming out to hopefully inspire you to do some new making and new creating. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon on Friday for another Friday sew, so we'll see you then. Bye for now.